Perfect. Perfect.
What's going on, guys? Welcome back to the channel. Hope everybody had a good weekend. I had to work some, but we got a little update on the 3D printing adventure here. I just want to share with you guys. We'll get to that in a second, but I got a couple shop card shout outs to go through. We'll go through those right quick. Anybody that I mentioned will also be linked in the description below, so if you follow me and you don't follow them, check down there. The first one we got is Big Charlie Model Garage. Charlie does some cool stuff over there. He's also into die-cast stuff, so you get a little mix of both. You get some die-cast stuff and some model stuff. If y'all don't know Charlie, go check him out. Thanks for the kind words on the back, Charlie. The next one is, if I can get it out the envelope, sorry guys, David Parsley's Scale Custom Emergency Models. There's a QR code there, maybe you could scan. I actually kind of found his channel by accident. He builds some really cool stuff over there. Does a lot of scratch building, a lot of really good scratch building. Being a former volunteer fireman for 10-12 years myself, I really like what he does over there. So y'all go down there and find his link and check him out. David, I appreciate you swapping cards with me, sir. And the last one we have for this go round is Kenny over at K-Doll's Model Car Doghouse. Really amazing builder, guys. Especially if you take into account that he's doing everything one-handed. If y'all don't know him or don't know his story, go check out his channel. It'll be linked below. It's amazing the work that he puts out over there. And from what I can gather from watching his videos, he's been around in the hobby for a long time. And some of y'all will probably know his old business name if you go watch that video. But yeah, he's been around a while. Does some really cool builds. Kenny, appreciate you, buddy. Also from Kenny, we got a sticker. I like stickers. Alright guys, so the 3D printing progress. After many prints and thinking that I was doing something wrong, we finally got this thing calibrated. Let's zoom in a bit here, see if you can see this stuff. Guys, I promise you I'm going to try to keep this in frame. So, this is Table Flip Foundries cones of calibration. You see right there it says success. That means that all these little cones on this side should have printed, and they did. Flip it around the other way and it says failure, which means all of those little cones should have failed, which they did. This block, I know it's probably not going to focus in on it, but there's little bitty tiny ribs in the bottom of this block and little bitty tiny holes in the top of this block. This block has to measure 6 millimeters wide and 6 millimeters tall from the base to the top of the block, so like here, and it does, so that's good. There's also test pieces on here. Sorry guys, I got this thing zoomed in so dang far. This little piece breaks off. It's just on supports. Let me clean that off. This is the ale of calibration, is what they call it. Come on, focus. Focus. There we go. So this little piece is supposed to fit in the cup with no resistance. It's supposed to just slide down in there. And it does. If I got it straight, it would have. I'm looking through this camera screen. There it goes. So we're good there. Alright. So that's 1, 2, 3, 4 completed tests. Okay. And then this handle sticking out here is actually a sword that breaks out. Let me wipe this off. It's wet from where the water got up in there. Alright. So now the sword, focus, is supposed to fit into the skull with no resistance and go all the way through. Just like that. So that's good. And then at the top of that block, there's 2 holes that the sword should not go into. That's as far as we can get it in that one. And that's as far as I can get it in that one. And they do go all the way through. So that way, if it went all the way through, that would be a fail. So now we have the cones, the failed cones, the ale of calibration, and the sword all working together to let us know that we have a successful calibration. There's also, let me zoom this back out, guys. There's also a little figure test print that comes with this. When you get done with this, you print the figure and then you break the cup off, and he holds the cup. He's got a sling on his back for the sword, and the skull is actually part of the base. So I've got that on the printer now. It's printing. It's probably about halfway done. So yeah, we should be ready to rock and roll with this thing. Also, shout out to James Tester. I'll put his link below too for talking to me a little bit about this thing, because I know he has the same printer and he's using the same resin, just a different color than I am. And through comments here on YouTube, we had a little chit chat, you know, back and forth a little bit to make sure I wasn't doing something wrong, because there's a list that Elegoo puts out with its resin and its printers, and you match your printer to your resin, and it gives you numbers to start at as far as your exposure time and calibrating it. And I am way below those numbers, way below. But according to James, so is he. So we should be good to fire this thing off and start printing stuff if the little figure and the base comes out alright, which I'm sure it will. But that's enough for this video, guys. Didn't want to keep you too long. Just wanted to give you a little update on this. We're still working on that, but that'll be a separate video. Have not touched the Impala anymore. I'm kind of letting it dry out real good before I start sanding on it. But like I said, anybody mentioned in this video will be down in the description. Links to their channel. You guys have a good one, and we'll catch you on the next one. Bye, guys.